Well, promoters and organizers have had to cancel or postpone concerts or events due to the COVID-19 outbreak, with large social gatherings prohibited. Companies like Big Concert have to come up with innovative ways to survive or risk going under. To talk to us on the challenges the event sector is facing right now, Big Concert CEO Justin van Wyk joining us now on the line. Justin, good evening and thank you for coming through.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
15th of March, when the president announced the state of disaster in the nation, and you realized that the Lighthouse family tour would have to go, WWE would probably have to be postponed. What went through your mind?
Well, we saw it coming, to be frankly honest. You know, we're part of a global business, and our Asia office had already lost all of its shows, and the Europeans were starting to close down, and we sort of saw the writing on the wall. The Australians and New Zealanders have been going through the same for a few weeks. So, the global industry was well aware of the risk. And unfortunately, we had to do the same. And we obviously did a stellar job at locking down the country pretty early, and everyone's lauded our response. But, it's had consequences for the economy, and particularly for the live event business.
Now, Justin, looking at the live event, and of course, they say look at the arts, and when you see what's happening in the arts, an indication of where the rest of industry and where the rest of society goes, because naturally, artists are hunters. They look for opportunity, and when the opportunity closes, they disrupt and innovate and come up with new ways. They've come up with new ways of doing concerts online, which, in a sense, bypasses yourself, it bypasses the venues, and it bypasses others who would have been in that value chain. How has this forced you to innovate?
Well, look, I mean, there's a big debate about that. The virtual events that have taken place around the world, and is that going to affect live music? The answer is a solid no. Of the people that we've polled around the world, 91% of people say that's the number one thing that they will attend the moment that the lockdown is over, is a live music event. I mean, streaming certainly helped keep a lot of these artists relevant, but most of the people miss the excitement of going to a live music event and experiencing that favorite act, and the live music experience is the pinnacle of the discovery. So we don't see that going away. Fans are hungry to go back and see their fans, but obviously all these new opportunities with streaming are helping us reach a lot more new people around the world.
How are you able to capture exactly that connection? Because, I mean, if you ask many concert goers, they'll tell you the reason why they come to the concert is because of that authentic connection with the artists when they are watching them live on stage. Something that may be quite difficult to capture if you're live streaming. How are you doing that?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's a challenging part. I mean, some of our colleagues are now looking into things like drive-in concerts, which have just hit the European summer, where you have 500-600 cars, 4 people in a car going to a live experience. They've done some of these type of shows in America. People are trying all sorts of things, but the reality is, at the end of the day, the live experience is the pinnacle, and everyone will return when we get the restrictions lifted from government. It's just a matter of when. We don't know when. That's the big question right now, is how long is this going to be with us, and how long after we've lifted the restrictions are people going to go back?
Let's talk about that coming back. I mean, with messaging going out that large gatherings are not your friend, and social distancing is going to be a thing that is going to be with us for a while, even if we get back to a level where events could possibly be coming back. The buzzword would have to be social distancing. How is that going to affect your business in terms of the venue layout, in terms of ticketing and how people are going to line up for those tickets, in terms of food and beverage? What's your thinking?
Well, right now there's an industry collective working on exactly that. It's called the South African Events Council, and it's a combination of all the different live events in the country, exhibitions, concerts, conferences and sporting events, and all the favorite events of the people in this country. And they're looking at industry-based practice from around the world, and what sort of protocols can we implement to make these things viable. I mean, the reality is, you're probably not going to have a 50,000 capacity stadium show with everyone packed onto the floor, in the nearest future. But certainly, we do believe that there will be a time when that will return. And for us, it's safety first. It's going to be interesting to see how the industry figures that out, or whether they do those type of big, large shows until we have some sort of vaccine or some sort of level of treatment. But, we're very confident that we're going to see live back very soon, but in a different way for the first while.
Have you postponed all your events? Are you keeping some on hold with the hope that they will still happen this year?
Well, look, there's always hope, but we have to await the guidance from government. As you know, live events, public gatherings, more than 10 people have been prohibited at all alert levels. So we are busy engaging government on that, under what sort of timescale we're looking at for the return of events and what sort of conditions are going to be imposed. And we need to see if that's feasible as event organizers and entertainment venues. So, we're waiting for the president to announce whether the state of disaster is going to be extended, and that will guide the way forward for us. Right now, as we all know, it's promulgated until the middle of June. And the government needs to either extend that or advise the way forward.
Justin van Wyk, CEO of Big Concert, thank you tonight. Thanks for coming through.